So where do you see YouTube going? I mean, YouTube has changed so much, and not at all in the same way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's still YouTube, but it has evolved quite a bit over the past couple of years. Where do you see YouTube going?
That's a tough question. People have been asking me that a lot, and we've been asking ourselves that a lot because
we want to know.
with the new channel design and everything, and there's so much more. I mean, everything has been changing so much on all of the internet for the past couple of years. It's really hard to say. I mean, I think everyone who's doing the kinds of things that vloggers are trying to do are really like hoping that it doesn't change in a bad way for us. And I don't really know, but the approach that I've taken is just to be positive and do what I like doing and hope that it keeps working out, because we have no idea. We work for a company that we don't actually work for.
Yeah.
And the fate of our future sort of rests in their hands, and that's a scary thought. And I think that a lot of people, because of that, are trying to make sure that their audience and what they're doing and their sort of social brand exists outside of one website.
Right.
Like if I only had all of my stuff on YouTube, and then YouTube decided that they didn't let individuals make content anymore for some reason, I would be so screwed. But if you've got a good following on Tumblr and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and I know sometimes people think like you're oversharing, you've got way too much stuff to keep track of, but I think that making sure that you have all of those different outlets, make sure that your audience is yours and not something that you have because of YouTube, because of Facebook. And so I don't know what the future looks like, but I know that there's a lot of strategies that people are taking to make sure that they don't lose what they have.
Right. And where do you want to go with YouTube?
I mean, I've never been the kind of person whose like end goal is just being famous on YouTube. I don't think that that's a fulfilling enough goal to be going for. I mean, my web series is something that I like really put a lot into because I love the idea of creating a larger thing with larger people. Being a YouTuber is really lonely. You make your videos yourself, you edit your videos yourself, you art them yourself, and at the end of the day, you've just spent a lot of time alone in your bedroom, and that is depressing. So I don't know what I want the future to look like for myself, but I like that there's so many really talented creators out there, and I love the idea of finding more ways to work with them.
For sure. I mean, like that's what YouTube was when it first started. It was just people collaborating with people. Like that's how YouTubers became big, was because just collaborations and sharing audiences and stuff like that. So it's nice to think about doing more of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. What are some of the most amazing things you've learned in your personal life thanks to YouTube?
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Learn so much is just like the people that I've met. I think I still have a couple friends from like high school and like the before YouTube days. So most of the people that I interact with on a daily basis are people that I met because of YouTube. Whether it's people that live nearby that make videos, or people that I've met from going on like crazy trips because of YouTube, or working in LA or whatever. And I think what I've learned is that people who create things and who like work, being a YouTuber is hard. You have to do so much more work than just clocking in to a 9-to-5 job. And those are some of the most passionate, amazing people, and the people that I absolutely love to surround myself with. And I think that's been like the most amazing lesson that I've learned through all of this.
For sure. Do you feel like YouTube has helped you with like just public speaking or self-esteem or confidence? I know for a lot of people, they were able to make a video in their bedroom and have the camera going, but they would never be able, and they might be able to get like 100,000 views on that video, but they'd never be able to speak in front of 100,000 people.
Yeah, that's definitely a much more scary thing. I was in theater in high school. I never really had a problem being on stage in front of people.
Right.
And I think coming into this as more of like a musician was easier because performing is a lot easier than speaking. I think this would have scared the crap out of me in high school.
Right.
But you just sort of, I don't know, you just get better at it. Something that's sort of new to me is I've been on a lot of panels, but I haven't moderated a lot of panels, and there's a lot more responsibility on that side of the table. Like, your job right now is a lot harder than my job. And I think that being a YouTuber and like the opportunities that I've had because of that has forced me to, be on that side a few times.
Right.
And I think that, you just kind of have to learn how to get good at speaking, because if you're a YouTuber, people watch your videos, and when they see you in person, they want to hear you speak. And at home, I script my videos, and I make sure everything's perfect, and I edit it, and, it's a lot harder to just be candid, and you kind of have to learn how to do that, and it's a really good skill. So, yeah.
Do you have any tips or advice on people that, want to get into it, and they kind of don't know how to act or what to do? You know what I mean? They're nervous about...
For vlogging or, like, public speaking?
For vlogging.
It's hard to give advice about vlogging, honestly, because everyone's style is so different. What people do, you know, if you tell someone to be like this person or do it this way, then they're not going to be as genuine as if they found their own way. But I think watching a lot of vloggers to see what they're doing and to get ideas is a good idea, but then stop and don't try to copy them. And then just think about the things that you like talking about. Think about the things you like talking to your friends about. Think about that topic that other people are like, oh gosh, she's talking about that again. But there are people online who want to hear you talk about that. And so if you can find the thing that you are the most passionate about, there's going to be people who want to listen to that. And then you just kind of have to figure out your own style. What works for you on how you do it. If you're someone who really likes jump cuts, if you're someone who doesn't, if you're someone who wants to make your videos more artsy or whatever, it's really hard to give advice about that. Because there's no wrong way to do it. Really?
Yeah, for sure. And what advice for people that are thinking about software or cameras or whatever? Like, what do you use, for example? What do you use for shooting and editing?
I shoot my vlogs on a DSLR. I use a Canon 60D.
Okay.
It's a pretty nice lens, but it took me a lot of years to get up to that point.
Yeah.
You know, a new vlogger who's like, okay, you got to be good at talking, you got to be interesting, you got to know how to market, you got to have this camera, you got to edit this. That is so overwhelming. So I think don't feel like your videos have to look like someone who's been doing YouTube for 7 years when you start. You know, I make videos on my iPhone sometimes, and that's fine. If you're starting and you just want to make some videos on your iPhone, that's fine. If you look at like Hannah Hart or Jenna Marbles, their videos were on webcams for a very long time.
Yeah.
And they managed to get so much success, even despite that. So it's really, really not the quality of your camera that's going to make you popular.
For sure.
You know, I mean, I use Premiere to edit, and I like that program. If you are ambitious and you want to jump into having a DSLR and Premiere, that's great. But don't feel like you can't make good videos using iMovie and your phone.
Yeah, it's very true. It's funny because, I mean, like, try to give advice on what you need to do and what kind of gear you need to have, but really, as long as you can get some sort of camera, some sort of editing software, there's no real checklist. It's just kind of...
And I think from there, it's just the willingness to learn. You know, start wherever you want, start wherever you're comfortable, but then, you know, the world does move quickly. And, you know, when YouTube started, everyone was doing webcams, but now we have access to these high-definition cameras. And it's cool. It's a cool place to be able to learn how to do that stuff. So I think, like, have the willingness to learn how to do those things. You don't feel like you have to.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Any other questions?